everyone, my name is Chloe and today I'm here to do my December favorites. So if you have not seen one of these videos, the December favorites or the monthly favorites is basically a time where I just tell you all of my favorite things from the month. So my favorite thing I read, watched, listened to, the thing I did, the thing I ate, the product or good that I got or used or whatever, and then usually like a mom hack. Sometimes they're better than others, but let's just get into it. So for December, the best thing I read was either Sisters by Raina Telgemeier or The Forever Girl by Jill Shalvis. So Sisters is a middle grade graphic novel. It's autobiographical. It's a memoir of sorts from Raina Telgemeier about her in this road trip with her little sister. So her and her sister are maybe like 5 years apart. I'm not sure how far apart they are, but they go on a road trip with their mom across country to like their grandma's house or something, and their dad flies and meets them. So the two sisters don't get along that well. They're a lot different, and with that different age gap, there's of course like the bickering that comes along, but then there's also like some deeper stuff going on with the mom and dad that then make the sisters kind of draw closer together. And I just loved it. I love her art style. I love the ease at which you can read her books. Like, they're just so good. She's the one that does the Babysitters Club graphic novels, and she's done Smile, which is another memoir from her, and they're just so good. So I really love that. Gave it 5 stars. Now, completely different is The Forever Girl by Jill Shalvis, which this is number 6 in her Wildstone series, but you can definitely read it just as a companion standalone. And this is about Maze. So Maze is one of 3 foster children that were brought into this family that had 2 biological children. But then the family home burns down and the family is torn apart because, of course, they don't have a home, so they can't foster the children. So the 3 kids were all brought in at different, like, later stages in life. They were not, like, young kids. But anyway, Maze is one of those children, and now they are all coming back together for one of their weddings. So we get to hear the story of the biological daughter who is still alive and getting married. She was the oldest, and she feels very responsible for everybody. So it's kind of her struggles with that. And then Maze, before the foster home, had a history of like sexual abuse and that kind of stuff. And then with the family being torn apart, she has some kind of insecurities about what those parents did or didn't do to fight for her. And then, so she's just got a lot going on where she's got like a lot of walls up towards a lot of people. And the siblings had all met back up every year at the deceased brother's grave on his birthday. But 3 years ago, something happened. There was a big fight that she has been estranged from them for 3 years. So coming back together, it's like a lot to work through with her siblings, I guess I'm calling them, as well as like the parents and just herself. She's got a lot of guilt over the death of the young boy, and et cetera, et cetera. So then Walker is another one of the siblings, and he and Maze have a romantic relationship, so there's a second chance romance there. And then Heather is the youngest, and she has been harboring a secret. So it's all of these people coming back together, and I'm calling them siblings, but they're more like friends, found family, that kind of thing. With that romantic relationship there, it's not like taboo. So they're more of just like really great friend group kind of thing, especially now that they're all adults and whatever. So I love that book. I gave it 4.5 stars. My only complaint is that Maze is a little bit of a not like your other girl's girl, but she's got like very much reason for being hardened and for being protected and all of that kind of stuff. She just kind of the awareness of the fact that like I'm not like your other girls is what kind of bothered me. But overall, really enjoyed that. So 2 kind of very different things. And I gave Sisters 5 stars, and I gave The Forever Girl 4.5. Not to say that Sisters is better necessarily, but for a middle grade graphic novel, it was exceptional. And so it's kind of comparing apples and oranges. As far as things I listened to, so December, of course, was the month of Christmas music. In my house, we listen to music almost all day, every day when we're home, and from like November 1st to December 25th, it is Christmas music. So I've talked about it multiple times. I love the Pentatonics, but specifically Grown Up Christmas List is one of my all-time favorite songs. And like, I don't feel like that's talked about quite as much as like some of the more popular, more classic ones. And I love it, especially the version with Kelly Clarkson. It's so good. Other things that I have listened to is Sugarland, just in general, not like even Sugarland Christmas. I don't know if that's even a thing, but like Sugarland was one of those bands. They're a country music band, and like back in college, late high school maybe, I listened to them all the time, it seems like, and I kind of forgot about them, and they like came on the radio in the car one day, and I was like, gosh, they had so many good songs. So I've been listening to a lot of Sugarland. Annie, her giggle, like listening to that, I don't know if I have any sort of audio that I can figure out how to insert into here, but it's just like baby giggles, you guys know, and just give you life. Like they are so good. And you may hear clips of it in the vlogs, but like when she gets going, and it's just so, there's nothing better than a baby laughing. So listening to that has brought me a lot of joy. Then also Taylor Swift, she has dropped another secret album kind of thing. And I would say that I'm not a huge Taylor Swift fan. So her and I are the exact same age. So she became popular. I don't know. I feel like I was a little old. Like I feel like her audience was a little bit younger. And so I don't know. I think she's a very talented individual. But as these albums are coming out that are more like, I can't even think of the word, but like more like folklore, and then this one, I am loving them. And I heard somebody say somewhere that she wrote these songs like not thinking about how they will perform on stage, so they can be more just like kind of lyrical and like less performable, I guess, if that makes sense, like less out there. And I am loving it. So we have been listening to a lot of Taylor Swift. I know I am not alone in that. And like, it's weird that now 2020 is when I'm jumping on the Taylor Swift bandwagon full force, but I'm loving it. And then the last thing that I listened to, I guess I listened to a lot this month, but is the blog I'ma Eat That. Her name is Kylee, I think, and she has a blog called I'ma Eat That, and it's about body positivity as well as recipes. She's mostly plant-based. I don't think she's 100% plant-based. Mostly healthy, but there's a lot of like fun food and treats thrown into. But the body positivity and the anxiety and all of the things she talks about are so inspiring and wonderful and relatable. I love them. So why am I talking about a blog? Well, she has moved it over to a podcast as well. So for those of you, or those of us who prefer to listen to things as opposed to read them, she now has it on a podcast that is right now only on Spotify and one other place, but it is so good. And it's basically just her reading her blog posts and like expanding upon them, and it's just so good. Like I've loved her blog for a long time, and she has two very little girls, very similar to how I do. She took the last year off blogging to kind of refocus on her priorities and figure out where everything fits, and I just admire that boundary so much, and I love her. So if you have not heard of her, either go read her backlist of blogs or subscribe to the podcast, or do both. You won't regret it. She's awesome. So then for the things that I have watched, I think I talked about it in November, but The Great Christmas Light Fight is one of my all-time favorites. So we watched that. And then in one of my vlogs, you may have seen it, we found this elf fitness challenge or workout challenge or something. And it's literally like a man dressed like Buddy the Elf, and he's doing all these like snowball toss and this and that and the other, and like Ainsley loves it, and so she will, and like there's a part where you duck and you do this, and like it just really was a fun way to get her kind of moving when we're stuck inside. And you guys know I'm desperate for things to figure out how to get some wiggles out of that kid, and so it was so fun, and like it was just so festive. It was a great time. The other two things that I watched are Game Show Network. So this has come in like in these week after Christmas, the last week of December here. So I'm one that December 26th, Christmas is over. I want everything down. I don't want to listen to the music. I don't want to watch the shows. I don't want to watch the movies. I just want Christmas to be done. And so I had subscribed to Friendly, which is where you get the Hallmark movies for Christmas. Like I subscribed, I think in October, and have been like hitting it pretty hard with Hallmark movies. But another part of Friendly that you get is the Game Show Network. And when I was younger, like my dad and I used to watch the Game Show Network a lot. We would watch a lot of different shows, especially like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. That may have been on ABC or NBC or something at the time, but like I feel like we watched a lot of Game Show Network. And then even through college, like I would watch some of the old shows. Like I love the Newlywed Game, like the original Newlywed Game, and Press Your Luck and Match Game. Like I just love those things. And so you can get Game Show Network on Friendly. So I've been kind of watching some more of that, and it's just so comforting, especially because there are a lot of new game shows, but there's also a lot of the nostalgic ones, and I love it. And then the last thing is the show on HGTV called You Live in What? And it's a bunch of people who have like built homes out of random things like airplane hangars or storage boxes or whatever, and they make these like magnificent homes, and it's so cool to see. Like, I don't think personally I would ever want to do it, but like one person did this old barn type thing and made it into this beautiful home, and I love watching it. So that's called You Live in What, and I found that in the middle of the night one night and fell down a rabbit hole hard, and it's so good. So for products, this month has been interesting because with Christmas, of course, there's a lot of stuff, and my parents are wonderful, wonderful people, and they gave me a new computer, a new laptop for Christmas, and it is much needed, and we're still working out some kinks because it's got a smaller memory than the one I have, so I'm trying to figure out how to do that. So I'm still on the old one, but that, of course, is my favorite product. I also got a laminator for Christmas, which I love. The other thing that we have gotten so much use out of already is the Yo Nana's ice cream maker or soft serve maker or whatever. You literally just put fruit in there, or like you can do peanut butter and fruit, or you can do whatever, and it makes like soft serve ice cream, and it's so cool. And like it comes out as soft serve, and then you can put it in the freezer and like let it harden to be more like ice cream. But we love it. We love it. You just take whatever frozen fruit and it goes in there. It's so easy to clean. It's not very expensive, and like we have a blender, a really good blender, but this just works like way better for ice cream and that kind of thing. So I'm loving the Yo Nanas. And then this one I like didn't really know where to fit it in, but the infinite scroll, I didn't even know that was a thing on Kindle and like Hoopla and all those kind of things. Like when you're reading an ebook and you have to turn the page all these times, I hate that. And so you can do an infinite scroll. So it's just like a web page where you just scroll and scroll and scroll. And I find that so much more motivating to read, because like then it's like there really is no stopping point except for maybe chapters or whatever. So I just like keep pushing forward. And like a lot of time reading on my phone while I'm feeding Annie or whatever that may be, like turning the pages that many times is like distracting and annoying. And I'm like, if I've done 50 swipes, I should be like a good portion of the way through the book, and I'm not. Infinite Scroll has just like been a game changer for me. And then the last product is actually not even a product of mine, but my sister's birthday is January 2nd, and she got this mug, or it's like a tumbler from one of her friends that I think is beautiful and hysterical and so great. This local lady makes them, and she took like time off because she got a little overwhelmed with like the holiday stuff, and so she's gonna start again on Monday the 4th. But it says coffee makes me feel a little less murdery, and it's beautiful, and I just think it's so funny. And so she makes all sorts of different stuff, but that mug is like my favorite. I'm definitely going to buy the same mug and have that tumbler because I love it. And for food or thing I ate, this month I don't really have one. So what I'm going to say is just relaxed chill food on Christmas. So Thanksgiving, I went all out. We stayed home, just our family of 4, and I went all out trying to make it special, trying to make like this big traditional kind of holiday meal with a vegan twist, and it was fine. It was good. The food was great, but I spent all day in the kitchen, and like between the kitchen and juggling children, it was not a fun day for me. And so for Christmas, I was like, you know what? We're just going to do fun food. And so we did, and we did like red and green skewers, and we did some festive stuff for sure, but it was all easy and relaxed, and I did not spend the whole day in the kitchen, and I loved it. I was able to enjoy much more of the day, and so I just love that. Like sometimes I get so wrapped up in the shoulds and the like production of it that I'm like, I forget that we don't need it. In fact, we did boxed mac and cheese with peas and tomatoes to make it red and green. Like that's what we had on Christmas, and it's not conventional. It's not what we would normally do, but when you're doing it all by yourself, it's just better, in my opinion, to keep it easy. Like when you're doing a family thing where it's like a potluck, then the ornate stuff is really fun, but like I just loved keeping it simple. So then for things I did, of course, Christmas, of course, that is the best. But like I've talked about before, like I feel like the anticipation of Christmas and the lead up to Christmas is actually the best part. So my true answer for things I did were the Advent activities that I did with my daughter. They were so fun, and gave us something to do on some cold days. And it just really taught a lot of lessons, and it was a lot of fun for us to do, especially the ones that involved like donating things and taking things places. We really, really enjoyed that. And then the other thing that I started started at the end of December, which if you've seen my goals video is a part of something I want to continue in January, is the plank challenge. So basically you plank for 1 minute or whatever length of time, you do a plank for that long every single day. And for me, I am like really struggle to get in the routine of lifting, but 1 minute is something that I can never talk myself out of. And the first couple days I did it, like my shoulders were sore, my abs were sore, like there was a lot of places on my body that were sore. And now I'm continuing to do it every single day, and like I can go for a little bit longer and I'm not sore and it's easier, and like I'm just noticing some strengthening in my body, and I love that. And it's a minute a day. Like you're not going to get super duper toned from it, but it just makes me like, it's a little something I can always have that makes me feel a little better. So I love the plank challenge. I hope to continue it. And then my mom hack is not a hack at all, but it's a declaration that we have officially hit the age where reverse psychology works like a charm. So if I want my 2, almost 3-year-old to eat something, I just give it to her sister, and then she's like, hey, I want some of that too. Or like Annie, I gave Annie, which is our baby, this toy that I know if I would have given it to Ainsley, it would have been like, yeah, that's great. But because I gave it to Annie, it's like the coolest thing. And they're both really excited to play with it. And it's like a cheap little Minnie Mouse kind of phone thing or whatever. And they're both so excited to play with it because it's Annie's and because it's that little bit of forbiddenness or something. So reverse psychology is at its finest right now, and you better be sure I am using that. So that is my December favorites. What was the favorite thing that you did, ate, read, listened to, watched? Tell me your favorites from December, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next one.